What up, y'all? It's the same gang as usual. We got a special guest. You can see it up on your screen, man. We got a brand new setup as well. We're on Discord for the first time ever. Everything's brand new, man. Brand new addition to the podcast today. Brand new setup. Make sure you hit that subscribe. Make sure you hit us up in the comment section. Let us know that you're here, tuned in, tapped in early. Like, share, all that good stuff. Do whatever you got to do to help us grow, man. Asante, say hi to the people. All right. We're going to get right into it. We got some short news today. Nothing crazy. Not a lot has happened. It's the NBA playoffs, conference finals. So everything's pretty tight. Tyler's going to run us through some of the WNBA stuff. We got some NBA finals or conference finals to talk about. But let's start with the All-NBA teams. I think that's a great way to start. Let's start with the All-NBA third team. That's been announced since the last time we potted. For All-NBA third team this year, we have
already kind of crazy that J. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. Did he?
Cat did. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, he's
mentioned him.
Ignore me.
There
was something else I was thinking of.
Agree with. Honestly, I mean, I'm not a Halliburton fan.
I think James
Harden think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he has every reason to be on.
So I mean, I guess all NBA, if you don't factor in how your personal success.
Wait, what are you trying to say right now? What are you? I'm not.
I factor in as heavily the.
What does James Harden need to do differently to change your mind? What?
I mean, he's not like he don't play both sides of the ball, which is kind of notorious. I don't like it's an interesting stat because I don't think it plays too heavily into how well you are at playing defense. Because can you stop somebody one-on-one if all your defensive usefulness is deflections? I mean, when it gets to
the
third team is
20. So am I? Oh no, I'm not on mute. It's 23
on paper. You know what I'm saying? On paper,
but something. Keep in mind though. All NBA is not
that's my. I can see maybe those top five guys. Those are more likely going to be people that are playing both sides of the ball. And maybe you get the second team. It's still offense heavy, not really defensive minded.
Yeah, the third list only has two players that play both sides of the ball consistently. At least I would say. But I mean, I don't know. It's to me, it's a list of impact.
There is one Booker.
Yeah, okay.
But the fact that it was that easy kind of...
It was not that easy because you didn't say...
You put something out there that was worth it in 2 seconds. Like, give me... was Siakam on this list?
That's what I was about to say. Siakam?
It could potentially be better picks.
I would put Harden over Siakam, though. I would, personally.
Yeah, me too.
NBA team.
I get it. If he was...
Deserves it over him. And you could... how many games did KD play?
I don't think so. Did any of...
Booker did. Booker played 75.
Wow, it's a healthy year for Booker.
Yeah, it is.
Did not notice that. Not gonna lie.
That's how ass he is. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, we doesn't feel like Devin Booker.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Chris Paul.
Because I don't think we like Giannis that much either, right?
Nah, Giannis. For a while I was hating. Nah,
I'm not gonna lie. I could have hated on Giannis. I thought Giannis was gonna be a freak of nature off the dribble. He looked weird. Like he had a weird body type.
No, you did not. No, you did not.
Nas, we weren't even around each other, Nas.
I hate this guy. I hate him so much.
I could phone in.
What year, though?
It was after his second year.
So when he won Most Improved? Great time to choose a Giannis bandwagon.
That doesn't mean you're gonna be a. That doesn't mean you're gonna be a what he is now. No one thought that.
That doesn't count. As soon as he won Most Improved, everybody thought he was going to be great. Everybody did. I also did.
I wasn't
when
he got his championship runs. I wasn't a fan then. Like,
yeah, but you just hate good basketball. So
no. I like to because I think here's what pisses me off, bro. And what generates those kind of arguments or takes out of me is when it comes to LeBron James, they measure your impact on your team's winning so hard, and they do not make that a universal argument for other players like Chris Paul, like Devin Booker. They're so raw. They're so good. 70 points, 20 games. But their teams, their impact, their personal success on their impact on their team's winning is so ass.
But I
just don't understand it.
There's two sides to it, though. Chris Paul is held accountable because of the lack of success in his career. He is. Steve Nash is also held accountable, for example, for the lack of success in his career.
Yeah, they are.
Or, success to that degree, at least. Championship. Of course they were successful, just not championship successful. You assume they're trash because they don't have a – that's different. People saying, oh, Chris Paul doesn't deserve to be, talked about next to these guys because of this and because of that is a whole different conversation than you just saying he's trash because of this and that.
He doesn't.
Okay,
I don't think Chris Paul does, though.
He doesn't. I was gonna say there's guys who get snubbed like a Lou Williams. Lou Williams don't get put in no conversations when it comes to being an all-time great shooting guard. But he's still in the 6-man conversation, which I'm not a fan of that either, because I think it was just like something he accepted as opposed to his actual measured impact. If he was starting
the 3-time 6-man of the year,
again. if he decided to start, I think if he decided to start for most of his career, his numbers will look different.
But does anybody have a memorable Chris Paul moment when it's not his antics?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. The double behind the back, he got shit on by Steph Curry on that baseline.
Oh my God!
You know what he meant. You know what he meant. Positivity. Yeah, he shit on the Spurs. He did great in the playoffs and that finals run. He had multiple memories in the Clippers. Yeah, what the hell? People be talking gaslight.
I've never in my life said, "Damn, let me tune into this Chris Paul game he's playing."
You guys were crazy, bro. You didn't like
Never. I'm sorry.
Bro, I can name 5, bro. That doesn't mean anything. I can name only 5 players that I specifically go out of my way to go tune into. Like what? I'm not sitting here to watch every 30 superstars in the league, or stars in the league.
To watch Jalen Brunson.
When it comes to Chris Paul, my problem is they're like, why Chris Paul didn't get a whole lot of winning done? It's because of Chris Paul, right? But it's also because of Doc Rivers. It's also because of X. It's also because of Y. And when they're doing well, it's also because of those things, but it's not. It's because Chris Paul is a point guard. It's because Chris Paul's a genius. He led his team. I don't like when they're doing bad, this is what it looks like. When they're doing good, this is what it looks like. And for Chris Paul, that scale is not balanced.
Yeah, that I agree with. That I agree with.
Leader,
the media.
Any leader, most blame is on the leader anytime. So he's never won. He's never won.
Yeah, that I agree with. The way the media portrays it is bad, but I can't control that. I'm just speaking of my own personal opinion, my real basketball opinion. I'm not basing it off of how the media decides to sell their narratives. Yeah, they sell narratives, whatever, clickbaits and whatever sells, or gets them ratings and all that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about my honest basketball opinion. Chris Paul, at the end of the day, is still a phenomenal player. He deserves all the flack he gets. He deserves all the flack he gets for not winning and for not having a championship or for not leading a team.
He doesn't get enough of that.
He does, though, because
he definitely does. Bro, Chris Paul gets roasted. He's one of the most roasted point guards of all time.
Jason Kidd didn't win until he went to the Mavs, and then by then he was like a decrepit form of himself, bro. He was not the star Jason Kidd. He had to go and win with somebody else, but he's a top 10. Steve Nash is a top 10. John Stockton's never won anything.
If you look at the top 10 or top 15 or top 20, wherever you want to put him, I don't care. Chris Paul is probably the top 3 most hated out of all of them. Nobody gets as much hate as he does.
I hate him a lot.
He gets a lot of hate.
On my podcast.
The Rondo jokes, didn't make it to the finals, the wash jokes, he can't play defense now jokes. He's been getting shitted on for years, bro.
Rondo hated him so much, he learned how to spit like a viper in the offseason, just so he could hide it. I'm telling you, bro, he's hated.
I don't think he's hated.
He is 100%. That you can't just ignore. Yeah, we're hating him right now.
I'm not hating on him. I just don't think he's as good as a leader as people think he is. Because he's never won.
That's hate because he is. He's been a great leader throughout his career.
Would you call that love, Pluto? Do you love what?
What are you leading me to? Western Conference Final? What are you leading me to?
There are only 2 teams can win.
Exactly.
But that's all you're leading me to. You don't know what to do after that.
A side note.
I just feel like he's not he's not like the. I think he's right. I don't think he's as smart as people think he is. He's smart though. I think he's a high IQ guy. I think he's a great passer, but I don't think he's a winner. I think those are two
Everybody
different
knows.
Is he
things.
not smart
Everybody
or
knows
is he
he's
not
not a winner.
winner?
But that's like two different
No,
things.
I'm not saying he's not smart, but I don't think he's like.
Yo,
I don't think he's the point guard y'all making.
Bro,
the
like
point
you hear
guard
what
y'all
he's
making
saying?
seem.
I don't think he's smart, but he's not a winner. What does that? How does that correlate? Like, what? You know how many smart players? You know how many smart players don't win shit?
Timothy
You know how many
Mozgov has a chip.
I don't know a lot of smart players. that
Jalen
have
Green
not
was in the
won shit.
playoffs.
Yeah,
The
bro.
dumbest player in the league.
Who?
Yeah.
Jalen Green. He just made it to the playoffs. He's the dumbest player in the league.
Nah, that's not a good comparison to a 17-year career.
JaVale
Jo-
McGee
Jordan
is a
Poole
has a-
two-time champion.
Jordan
3
Poole.
times.
Jordan Poole has a championship. The second dumbest player in the league. Like, what are we
He was
talking
also.
about?
I don't. His. Never mind. I had nothing. That playoffs about 25% of that playoffs had to do with Jordan Poole. The other 75% was Steph Curry. But
25%?
You gave him 25? That's a lot, bro.
he was a scorer, bro.
I'm not even
He
giving
was
him
a
that
scorer.
much.
You guys know how I feel about scores, so I'm not going to
Bro.
take away from him. I'm not going to take away that he deserves.
25%, bro.
25% is crazy.
He's getting like
He had a
10,
lot of
maybe.
good games.
They have Klay
Warriors that
Thompson,
run.
All-Star Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and you're giving Jordan Poole 25% credit? That's
Of that championship
insane.
run? Hell yeah.
That's insane.
Hell yeah.
He did not
He was
play
good
that
when
great in the
Ice Spice
playoffs.
was there, bro. He played like shit when Ice Spice was there.
The Warriors haven't won shit since he's been gone. They've been missing that void of a scorer since he's been gone.
Yeah, but that's
So, I
different.
mean,
That's because
I don't
Draymond
think
touched
he's
him. That's a whole different.
Dumb as you think he is, Nas.
He is. He 100% is. Oh God. Either way, this isn't even about these players. This is we're trying to give credit to the guys who made it this year, All NBA. We fucking talking about Jordan Poole. Like, what the fuck, man? Well, let's get back, man. Let's switch it up, man. Tyler, you're the resident expert, man. Talk to us about some WNBA. We'll listen. We'll try to interject, but we suck. We don't watch it.
It's been fun though. Like I keep telling you guys, like it is. I know there's like a stigma around it, but it has been enjoyable, especially because they're starting to get like really aggressive now. Like I like people fighting. I think that's always enjoyable. And there's like a new rookie called Kiki Ephraim or Ephraim. I'm saying her name wrong, bro. Like someone like clotheslined her in the neck, and she actually got up, like pushed her and everything. I was super excited to see it because I'm used to seeing like camaraderie with the women. Like they all like each other. They're all very friendly, and that's boring basketball. Not anymore.
I can agree.
It is boring basketball.
I've watched. I think I've caught like as many, we'll say, highlights of as many games as I possibly could want to find, and you're definitely seeing what looks like you said, more aggressive sets. Players who have skills are starting to have the ball a lot more and make a lot more decisions. I do think that's fire. I can't name anybody just yet. I haven't got to that point yet. I think I'm still just trying to see. I'm like wincing or peeking in the door at the product to see if it's at a point to where I won't fall asleep. And, it's more so because I just don't know any storylines that are going on right now. I'm curious to see like how players like Paige Buchers develops. I'm eager to see like another. Maybe I'll give Caitlin Clark another series before I tune into that. But I mean, I feel like I start to see a lot more skilled players, and this probably just because of like our age, but and then now they're finally getting to the league, So this is like 5-6 years ago. You started to see girls in high school, girls in college really starting to handle the rock. Because for a long time, that was the hardest part of the product that was just so unattractive to me, is like the way they handle, like a lot of set passes, a lot of down screens, backdoor cuts. It wasn't a lot of players who would give you a 1-2 blow by. And I think in the few highlights that I've seen, I do notice that, and it is pretty attractive.
It's gotten better.
I see Paige has improved. Her numbers have gone up since the last time we podcasted, so I'm assuming that means her last 2 games were better. How has she been doing since the last time?
I think since the last time we talked, she's only played 1 game. I don't remember how long ago we went over it, unfortunately. I don't remember Dallas.
Played 2 games.
They won their first game, though, last night. They beat a team that's never won at all, the Connecticut Sun. arguably the worst team I've ever seen in my life. I'm an advocate for women's sports, but when I watch the Connecticut Sun, my drive to
Yo,
watch basketball is completely removed. There is no
Yo,
drive.
so in the beginning of the season, there were all these announcements about all the different dub players that got released, and I think about like the lowest record or the worst rated team on both sides in the league, and I don't. It looks very clubbish, you know what I mean? Because there's no way
that's
150 women got
exactly
dropped,
where I was about to go with
and
this.
you can't build a good roster out of 150 women. Like that gym for the lowest rated team in the league should have been stacked. It should have been stacked. Like it should have been like a gauntlet of WNBA players. If you were trying to utilize the players and create another staple of a team in the league, because right now all we know is fever. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
and I think it would have been a good opportunity to, for the NBA to paint this idea that they're willing to allow more players to fight for jobs. Because there's women that were going viral for traveling all these different places. There's a girl who got traded and waived like 3 times in a
Diamond
row.
Shields
How
with the TikTok.
how did she not go to the worst rated teams in the league gym and fight for that position? I think that
It's
creates
crazy. You're right though, because she's a champion.
I think that creates more drive on your team. That makes it a much more serious, much more tense organization, and that is part of like what develops championship level runs, rosters, organizations. Like that was a missed opportunity.
The draft
Real
is one
quick,
of the
Tyler, I
weirdest
wanted
things
to.
about the WNBA. Real quick, onto what he's saying. There's 3 rounds in the draft, which is like already way too many for a team that can only have 11 to 12 people. 3 rounds is wild. 36 people get drafted every year. Last year, 21 were cut. This year, 19 already. What's the point of that, bro? What's the point?
With that being said, if the NBA, if a young man growing up wants to make it to the league, he's got like a 0.00000% chance of making it, depending on where he's at geographically, your family's income, all kind of shit. That number needs to be even worse for the NBA. Like it needs to be even less of a chance. Like that's how tight and skilled that pool of players should be. But then you look at some of these rosters in the bottom halves of them, or even just the bottom whole teams in the league, for that many women to be sidelined, I'm confused. I don't know what I'm looking at. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
weirdest
kind of.
thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No cap.
I was gonna say something, Tyler. Maybe back to the whole club thing that Asante was talking about. I think they're trying to drift away from that. Like I think we were talking about weak links, and then top heavy teams, right? And I think for the women NBA to be successful, I think they do need that. Like I think they need to get a combination of stars on different teams and kind of have like a real rivalry. I think. I mean, is that the direction they're going in, or am I tripping?
Yeah,
Like, are
that's
they
why they're
trying to
pushing so
market their
hard
players like superstars?
with the
I
Angel
want to say that
Reese
that's
and Caitlyn situation. They definitely are trying to create rivalries. It's something that's happening with the Minnesota Lynx, which is like they have an MVP candidate player named Nafisa Collier. They just went in the finals against the New York Liberty, so they have like a little rivalry going. But like there's just so many people changing teams so often because the rosters are so small. Continuity is not really there too often. And you see like these really great players just lose opportunities, get traded to different teams. They have a bunch of expansions now. So like it is like a league that's spreading in a time where it needs to be a little bit more compact, I think, and it really needs an opportunity to build storylines, and
We need
it's hard.
faces. We need faces because, like, if you're gonna expand on something, but you don't have anything foundational, it's like you're building something on nothing, right? Pretty much.
Well, you
Because
forget the past. The
who
past
are the
doesn't.
biggest faces? Forget about skill set, like off the dribble.
The Asia Wilsons,
Besides
the
CC,
Nafisa Colliers, the Brianna Stewarts, the Sabrinas, the CCs. Like those are the names. Like if you're tapped in even slightly to women's basketball, you know those names. Those are like
I feel like I would.
okay.
If you lined them up on a panel, I could probably name a few. But
you probably know
what I
all
was
of
gonna,
them
what I was
realistically.
thinking, yeah, like what I'm thinking in the back of my head is I feel like they're trying to like for the dub to be historically so bad, you would think at a prominent time for basketball that they would take a year and really figure out the skill level of the league as opposed to trying to build a story. Like, I feel like they invest so much into the marketing of the WNBA, trying to please just watch our league, please. And
literally pandering that shit.
Pandering. Oh, it's disgusting. But I think there's two things that are happening simultaneously. Is like you're taking money that could be invested into teams building skilled rosters, and the only reason that we all even care right now today is because there actually is more talent coming into the league. So
talent too.
Two things are happening
talent that you want to watch.
But I feel like they're really stepping on their own toes by honing in so much on marketing. And like you said, when you have no continuity, you're not going to have a story. So it's like if we shaved off, kind of Hunger Game, the bottom halves of the roster, let that marinate for like 2 seasons. I mean, obviously you're going to have drafts. You're going to have more. I just think, like you said, the draft rounds need to go shorter. I think teams got to have way more open gyms. Like, why the fuck is these women playing like these 3-on-3s outside of the? If you really want to pump the WNBA, there needs to be nothing going on in their lives other than the WNBA. Now that's a lot to ask, you know what I'm saying? Because you're taking away some other opportunities for them to make money. But fuck, pick. Do you want to be a freelance? Give them, bro. You want to be a freelance, or do you want to fucking play in the WNBA? Do you want the WNBA to actually sound?
And that's crazy because that vibe that you're talking about, like where I'm just here for work type, that's the vibe I get from a lot of these like games and everything. It just feels like, yeah, I'm just here. I got a job. And like some people take it serious. Like Asia can focus on championships and rings, but I wish every player and Caitlin Clark can, because they have the money to do that all year round. So maybe, kind of putting money into the people that are entertaining, give them more opportunities to kind of hone in on their skill set, get a trainer throughout the year versus having the same play style all year. And they don't have time to adjust, watch film. Oh, I did this year. Maybe I can't get a left hand when I'm on the left block because I'm open right there most of the time. Like, they don't have time to readjust their game. So a lot of these players, I feel like, are the same players they've been since college. Bro, they don't really add on to their game.
They don't have practice arenas, a lot of them. So the Dallas Wings, for example, they have one now because they got Paige, and you kind of have to because Paige is such a big name. Last season, they were practicing in open gyms. Like, Connecticut Sun don't have a practice arena. They don't have a team in Connecticut to practice with or to go to. So, like, they're also in open gyms. It's like, that's not an appealing, picture that you want to put out.
That's why the NBA is so great, though. These players, after the offseason, the organization's still meal prepping, watching film, telling them what we want you to come back with next season, giving them the money to like literally like giving them the resources to be better if they want the resources to be better. They don't. I'm pretty sure when the NBA closes up, they're like, all right, guys, close this shit up. We'll be back in about 9 months.
Something brought up a story about this player who's like a champion, Diamond DeShields. She got traded to a team, the Connecticut Sun, and they got waived like almost immediately, and they sent her like 2 to 3 moving boxes. Like the NBA, if you get waived, they pay for your relocation. They help you move. The WNBA, they just and that's not even getting into like the GMs, which are really bad. So like the Chicago Sky.
Real quick, Tyler, before you gotta go expand on this. Isn't it the team that trades you the one who helps you move too? Like, they pay for that stuff?
Usually, yeah.
For the NBA? Okay. So, my bad. Go ahead. I just wanted to make sure.
Afterthought I have in all of this is like I really like if the NBA was really, because they already say like we already pay for the WNBA. Well, show me. I want to see I want to get what their understanding is versus like how much does a dub generate for themselves versus how much the NBA gives down. I want to understand what the disparity is because I feel like they're doing.
But they're trying to They're trying to move away from that model, though. The whatever you want to call it, the lady that's in charge of the WNBA is trying to make the WNBA its own thing. They're not trying to continue to rely on the NBA. And I mean, we talk about all these nice things that could boost, what we're looking for out of the WNBA, but do they have the resources to do it right now?
Even currently with the NBA helping them, they don't, because the NBA is not providing enough money. So you have to understand, just like the NBA, and remember, the WNBA has only been around for 25 years. It's not this thing that's had 75 years of experience like the NBA. It's new. The first 25 years of the NBA were shaky. People were not making a lot of money, bro. It was a terrible experience. We weren't dribbling for 10 of those 25 years, to give you an idea. They would think that's witchcraft right now. If you want them to catch up, it's an investment. Do have to spend some money. You might lose.
And I think the money has to go to the players. Yeah, and I think the money primarily has to go to the players and resources to making the players better. And then your product is better. And then the entertainment isn't as hard. People are coming in to watch women do Steph Curry like things like Clayton Clark or Paige
and Juju's the next big thing, bro. She's been compared to MJ.
They cannot fumble that. They cannot fumble that.
And Angel, or I'm sorry, Cece and Angel are your Bird and your Magic. That next step is MJ, and that's Juju. You put so the good thing is the CBA, they're negotiating it this year, and it goes into effect next year, and that's expected to change some things. But it's not even just the money that the players get; the facilities need to change too. I was going to say something. So the Chicago Sky, everyone knows Angel Reese at this point, right? Like we talk about her. She's in the media everywhere. She's a non-shooter. She also got drafted with a non-shooter. So you think like your two cornerstone like pieces, like they can't shoot. You would think you want to add in shooting around them, right? They don't. They trade their first pick. They add in non-shooters. So like this team that already had no shootings, they have no more shooters. So now they're going to do even worse. Like, that's not a good product that you're putting out for, like, one of their biggest rivalries in the WNBA history. Like, be smarter. You have this star that's generating you money. Lean into it.
That's that club mentality, bro. I hate that.
Yeah.
Like,
I love watching it. It's fun. I'm not going to lie. Like, I got into it, and it's very enjoyable. But there's still some really dumb things.
Even though things aren't looking the way that we want them to look, though, we have to. I think we also have to admit they are heading in the right direction. It's just not. It's not going to happen overnight. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to see the change anytime soon. There's a real deal possibility that some of the best players in the WNBA right now might be retired by the time we actually see the change that we're looking for. It's just not going to happen overnight, and that's how it works for every single franchise or organization, corporation, whatever you want to call it. There's people who don't get to reap the benefits of their success. You know what I mean? Like Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain did not get to reap the benefits of their success. Magic and Bird got to reap the benefits of that success. Magic and Bird didn't get to reap the benefits of their success. Michael Jordan got to reap the benefits of that success. You get what I mean? And then Kobe got to reap the benefits of his. LeBron got to reap you know what I mean? And it just continues and continues and continues. Exactly. Exactly.
It's generational wealth within the organization. I get what you guys are saying. Just being built.
So they're not making the best decisions right now, but I do believe they're heading in the right direction. You're talking about charter flights. That is something that is brand new to this league, and it's a huge step up. You know what I mean? In facilities, I think that can happen very shortly. I think they're playing in better arenas. I think that paying the money to do that was a bigger priority than facilities. So we don't know if they're working on it. You know what I mean? So they got the arenas now. I don't know if every team does, but the teams that have the big names that attract fans, like the Caitlin Clarks and the Paige Beckers, they got the arenas now to fill in those seats and to make that money. The facility could be the next thing up. Maybe it's not. Maybe something else is the next thing up. Who knows? But I mean, I think at the very least they're heading in the right direction. And I'm one to talk shit about the WNBA's direction all the time. You know me. I'm more than willing to accept that I'm not a fan of their marketing team. They don't do the best in taking advantage of the tools they have in front of them.
Presentation.
I've said that a million times. Their presentation is terrible at times, so on and so forth. But I will give them credit. I do believe they're heading in the right direction, but I don't believe we're going to see changes within the next 5 years. Not the changes we're talking about. We'll see very short changes slowly, but Asia Wilson's going to be nearing retirement. You know what I mean? Well, maybe I think she will be nearing retirement. I want to say Breanna Stewart could be nearing.
She's 30 already.
Yeah, Breanna Stewart could be out the league or nearing her retirement. So it's going to be something that Caitlin Clark gets the benefit from. Paige Beckers gets the benefit from. Probably Juju. will get to benefit from. Not probably, she will, because she'll be in the league at that point. But I think they're heading in the right direction. I personally would say.
I agree.
Yeah.
They are making the right moves. It just the critique that we were kind of going over a second is still valid though, but they are making improvements.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it is fair or morally just propaganda to tell women to watch more sports, more basketball, or women related basketball?
I don't think so.
Wait, say that one more time. Wait, say that one more time. I didn't understand.
It's morally just propaganda to encourage women to watch more basketball.
Morally just.
I
Break
don't.
that down for me,
I'll
please.
never think that. I'm of the type that you should support people that are like you. In the sense where like I like basketball, I'm gonna look for people that like basketball, regardless of men, women, race, color. I don't care. If you like that sport, you should watch it. If you are an advocate for women, just like if you're an advocate for any other thing, LGBTQ, whatever, if you're a big advocate, you probably should support it, but I'm not going to tell anyone to, and I'm not going to look down on them if they don't.
I think there's a lot of hypocrisy when it comes to women's sports. That also makes it a little bit of a distasteful journey. Is like we want so much for it, but we already have seven different prominent leagues that take all of our money.
That's
so hard, it's like to now have to, and then it's just like what we're supporting is objectively women. So it's like, yo, we already have to invest in what we got going on, and for us as maybe like a race, the male kind, to have to invest in more of their stuff than they do. I find that comedic.
It's tough. It's
now what I will say though,
that's a really crazy theory, and I like that.
Yeah,
I do like that.
One thing I will say though, speaking of hypocrisy, I sent the guys a reel a while ago, a couple weeks ago. I can't remember who the player was, but she was doing some sort of game for social media purposes, and she wasn't fully aware of some of the NBA players they were mentioning to her. And let me tell you, one of the players they mentioned was Nikola Jokic, right? I don't remember who the player was, unfortunately, but she wasn't fully aware of each player that they were mentioning to her. And it was like a questionnaire type of game, whatever the heck it was. And my thing is, when you talk about hypocrisy, it's like you want this support, right? You want this growth. The world needs to watch more women's basketball. They need to support us more, blah, 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 blah. And you got a WNBA player who doesn't even know the 3-time MVP of the NBA. You get what I mean? That's hypocrisy right there. Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tread lightly, but it might sound rough around the edges. I don't know who this player is. I don't know what her impact is to her team. I don't know what her status is in the league. She could be a star, a starter, a role player, a reserve. I have no clue. She could be out the league right now in this moment. I have no clue. But my point is, that's the hypocrisy that's always going to create this back and forth. Like you can't. My thing is, you can't post that. That's my thought process. As a social media manager, do not post that. That is a bad look for your WNBA and for your franchise, that your player, a basketball player in the WNBA, does not know who Nikola Jokic is. That's just not acceptable, in my opinion. Don't post that. That's not a video to post. You're making her look bad. Now, it didn't turn into anything. It wasn't a trending topic or nothing like that. So, of course, it all worked out. I'm sure the comments probably chewed her up. I didn't read them. But that's the hypocrisy that I'm talking about. And I believe it was, the last thing I'll say, I believe it was Kelsey Plum who said this on a podcast or on an interview or something. We're not tuning in to the NBA to the NBA to support. That's not what we're doing. We're tuning in to watch Shea. We're tuning in to watch Brunson, LeBron, Curry, Jokic, Giannis. We're tuning in to watch these specific players. We're tuning in to watch them hoop. And she said it herself, don't watch to support, watch because you want to see us hoop. You know what I mean? And that's where the disconnect will always come is I think we're being forced into the idea that we need to watch more to support, but that's not enjoyable, right? So the league has to head in a direction like the NBA has done to create more fans, to appeal to the youth. They've adjusted rules. They have altered some of the ways the game is played. Even coaching styles have changed. Player archetypes have changed to be faster, more entertaining, more threes, more dunks, all that kind of stuff. I do believe the WNBA should consider figuring out how can we transition our game in that way? And I think they are with players like Becker's, players like Caitlin Clark. Juju will come in; she'll be that type of player as well, a more exciting brand of basketball. But I think I've always said it, and it may sound negative, but I don't always believe the WNBA is an exciting brand of basketball. I don't always do. I do believe they are sometimes, but I don't always think they are.
Why is it hypocritical though? We can recognize that that's an ad, right? We could recognize that this is a marketing stunt where they're saying people should watch more sports. They have shirts about it. People should support more women ball too. Like that's all an ad. Like that one person that doesn't know Jokic does not speak for the NBA. Like Draymond Green does
Oh
not
no, I will
speak
say
for the Warriors.
I was saying hypocritical specifically from her. As I'm saying, like the WNBA players are always going to advocate for this, and now we see, okay, well, you guys are also not watching. You know what I mean? Or
I'm not
she
even
is
really
also not watching. So I'm saying it's hypocritical of her, not necessarily hypocritical of the whole league. I'm not.
I
Of
can
course, she doesn't
understand
speak
your
for the
point.
league.
I think your point for me is probably a little bit lower on the list because I'd rather her be good at basketball herself than know what's going on the other side of the coin.
That lets me know you locked in.
And, you know what I'm saying? And but if she's asked and you're not locked in and you don't know what's going on the other side of the, like, you know, and now it adds.
I don't know if she is though. I don't know if she is. I'm still learning WNBA. I don't know if she is or she isn't.
But that's the thing. If it's not a person that we can name right off the bat, I mean, you almost got no excuse.
Kind of buns.
You gotta be kind of buns.
I'll say I think, and I could be wrong. Maybe you guys remember if I say the name, but I think it was Rickea Jackson. I believe it was
That's her.
Rickea Jackson.
That was her fine self.
Yeah,
Do you guys
it was
know
her.
women that watch basketball?
No,
I personally do not.
I think that's.
I personally don't.
I think
they got to find a way to market towards women, and I think what's her name?
I think women don't fuck with sports as a whole. Like I feel like in the world of women's sports, it's fractional.
It's a certain kind of woman.
I'll say though, I don't actually agree. I don't believe it. I don't actually think it matters what your gender is to watch something. Like if a large amount of women do not like sports, I mean, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like that's okay. Like it's not about the sport itself. I think it's more about just people's upbringing. Women are raised and brought up in a different manner than men are. And there's plenty of women that are into sports. Of course, we see hundreds of women in the sports world right now. ESPN, Sports Center, all that kind of stuff. I know somebody personally who who a couple of years ago got a job at ESPN. I see her on Instagram all the time. You know what I mean? And she's a girly girl, which is the idea of it. You know what I mean? Like girly girls don't want to watch basketball. You know, sometimes you have more of a tomboyish persona when you're a sports fan, but that doesn't always apply. I don't think it matters, though. That's my personal opinion. I don't think the league, of course, wants it to be that way, and they're going to do things to make that happen. They're going to have the Kardashians courtside. They're going to bring the Meg Thee Stallions and Sabrina Carpenters to come watch the game because that might attract a certain a fan base.
That's the greatest things that they could do, bro.
Yeah, they're going to do it. They're going to do it for the sake of their marketing and for the sake of making more money. But I don't believe it's a need. It's a need from the money side of it. Let's bring more people to watch. Of course, it's not a need from the perspective of women should watch sports. People watch whatever the fuck they want to watch. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're a boy or girl or him, her, or a they. It doesn't matter. Watch whatever you want to watch. I don't think it should be a topic that, women don't watch sports.
I think that maybe I think I don't know, man. I kind of just overall, not that I disagree. I'm probably just on a different lane, like because a large chunk of it is the way that they're raised, our societal norms. I think another large chunk of it is probably a more sensitive topic of being just who and how they are, like women as a whole. And sweating and contact and all these things that we love about the game or sports as a whole isn't necessarily a desirable time spent. It's just not a desirable time spent. We don't all the
I
talking
don't
that
know,
goes
man.
around in the league.
My sister played baseball with me and basketball growing up, like all through high school.
Yeah, you have you. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like you have your portion of women, your percentage of women that are in it. I don't think what's respected is the fractional difference. Like for every one woman that you can name that probably did play a sport, I can literally call like 50 that wouldn't want to chip a nail. So it feels like that's what you're muted. That's what employs that employment of making, because we say the world should watch more basketball. No, you're saying men should watch more basketball because the world watches female soccer. The world watches, the female tennis. The world watches all these other. There's certain sports that women do dominate a little bit harder. So to employ me to watch more basketball, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, I do get it, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think that works for almost all television. I think you look at, for example, reality shows. We could probably say statistically, women are more commonly going to watch a reality show and talk about reality shows than men are. Statistically, at least, I can tell you,
So
I
now
hate reality shows.
imagine all male casted reality TV show. Well, I mean,
I'm
they
not going to watch
step
it.
it up. But so imagine it, but they want more men to watch reality TV because these men that are the actors aren't getting paid a whole lot because their viewership is down. That's silly. Like that concept to me is crazy.
Yeah,
We don't watch that shit. It's not our
my only
interest.
thing is, and the last thing I'll say about it, my only thing is, I don't think there should be a separation between, more men should watch, more women should watch. I think it's more people should watch. I really could care less who it is. If there's 2 billion people in the United States, you know what I mean? We need to get, I don't know, 50% of that. Is that too much to ask for? I don't know, 20% of that, whatever the correct number, the realistic number is to watch more sports or to watch our sport. You know what I mean? Whether it be 5% of that, 10%, whatever the realistic number is. I don't think I don't think there should be a distinction between who is specifically watching. I don't think there should.
Yeah, I don't care who watches. People should watch. Just in general, I don't think men specifically should be the ones to support the WNBA. I don't think it's fair. I think realistically, like when we watch things that are closer to who we are, that align to what we enjoy. And for women, that's why it makes sense that they're more into, WNBA. They're women. It's sports that relate around women. There's social justice issues for women. Like everything kind of like coalesce into one place for them. I watch it for enjoyment because, I just like basketball. It's another opportunity to watch basketball. But like some of the things you said were right. It is not something that everyone needs to go in and tune in for.
Would it make more sense if the W employed more product that displayed dynamics of women? So like they should have more podcasts than men. They should have more maybe another version of meet the player kind of product as opposed to no interviews, no press conferences, only at camp, only on
It's crazy that you say that. It's crazy that you say that. I was gonna try and cut this topic off with my last statement. I actually just started following Hoops for Hotties just recently. I'm not gonna lie, she's doing her thing. She's doing her thing. She does a really good job of presenting, WNBA basketball in a very appealing way. And I watch her reels all the time. I don't follow a lot of things on my personal page. So for me to go out of my way to follow her and what she does on social media, I was like, I like what you're doing. This is a good way for me to catch up with the WNBA and learn more. And I have been, but I definitely got to tap in a little bit more. But my thing is, I was going to say, yes, I agree. I think they need to mimic a lot of what the men are doing in order to appeal to a larger crowd. But I think they are. I mean, Angel Reese has her podcast now. Cameron Brink just recently started a podcast. And I think the younger generations.
Different to what Asante was saying, I think that, and I was talking to my girlfriend about this, there are products that align towards their target audience that they don't really use that much that I think they should.
Exactly.
The NBA and the WNBA both have a partnership with Skims. Last year, they did a great advertisement where they all did a Skims campaign. They should do that again. Sephora, for Unrivaled, which is like their 3-on-3 league, sponsored all their refs. Like things like those, things that pertain towards women, like how men have it. We should have those advertisements. I don't know how many times I've seen
not
like
Jared
razor ads,
McCain.
shaving ads, like specific things that pertain towards men. I see all the time. I don't see it as much for women, and they do need more of that.
They still show the same Gillette. They showed the same Gillette man ad on the WNBA games. Like, yo, they don't need to buy a F-150, bro. Like,
oh, that's
I
crazy.
think the funniest thing about all of this is that like Jared McCain has a nail polish line that's going to be more prominent than a woman NBA player does. Yeah, he does.
That is fire. But that's
I think Dwayne Wade is also doing the same.
I think that's crazy as fuck, but you know.
He shouldn't be doing. I mean, let me stop. I'll get in trouble.
Yeah, whatever you're gonna say was gonna be inappropriate. But yeah. But yeah, I think Dwayne Wade's doing the same thing. And there was something else that I was about to say and I forgot. Yeah, either way, I think we've beat a dead horse enough. Moving on to some other basketball topics to cap off our day. A quick mention, we don't have to discuss it much, but a quick mention for the Euroleague. Fenerbahce actually did win the Euroleague championship this year, Turkish team. I talked about it briefly last week. I did, unfortunately, cut that segment off because it went a little bit awry. I didn't like it. I cut it off. But I talked about it last week. Fenerbahce was the second team that I was supporting. My team got eliminated, and they actually did win. Nigel Hayes-Davis, American-born player, won the Finals MVP. So shout out to Fenerbahce for winning that. Shout out to Nigel Hayes-Davis for winning that award as well. Just wanted to make a quick mention of that because I feel like they're deserving of it. It is basketball around the world.
Quick question.
I'd probably watch a WNBA game before a Euro game.
That's what I was going to say. So the reason with the Europe games, the reason that we don't watch them, they don't relate to us. We're not European. We live in America, so we watch American sports. That's why it's never been that popular. Same reason why WNBA is. It's not going to be as popular for men as for women.
I enjoy EuroLeague basketball, but that's neither here nor there.
And that's fair, too.
It's all right.
But on to some more important stuff. The playoffs.
Let's do it.
Thank you for that. I was having a sneeze attack.
This has been some of the craziest playoffs I think I've ever seen in my life. I'm a LeBron stan. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm really in agreeing with you. Like, I think this playoffs, maybe we can really say from the beginning, honestly, it's been absolutely insane. But this is probably one of the better playoffs I've seen since at least 2016.
One of the closest marginal playoffs I've ever seen from the first round to now, even though bye-bye to the Timberwolves.
This is what I was saying to my bro last night. We're finally, I think this playoffs is the true beginning of the post-LeBron era.
It is.
Parity. There's real parity right now, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time we're seeing what the league's going to look like without him.
Let's talk about the Pacers versus the Knicks. The Pacers are up 3-1.
No, let's come back to the Pacers. The Pacers is a more exciting one. I think that we're going to talk a lot about the Pacers. Let's talk about the series that's ending right now, at this very moment. That's 32-65.
It was 38-13 last time I watched.
Oh, man.
That's disgusting.
I forgot they were playing.
It's 65-32 right now. OKC is up. I think that's a lot more a quicker topic that we can go to. I have a lot I want to say about Brunson and Tyrese and the whole Pacers squad, and I think a lot of us want to talk about them more.
Okay, so boom.
I mean, yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, my opinion is pretty straightforward. I respect the hell out of what OKC is doing over there.
I'll go ahead. I gotta real quick. Y'all go ahead. I gotta do something real quick.
I love how they play the game of basketball, man. I love how the emphasis on defense, how deep their rotation is, how everybody's able to lock in and do their part. Shea has his parts that are not as appealing as some, would prefer with all the foul baiting and whatnot. But at the end of the day, he's the most aggressive player in the NBA. At the end of the day, he knows exactly what he's doing. But I enjoy the Thunder. It is shocking that they are dominating the series to this degree. I did think the Wolves would get 2 wins in this series. Based on the current score, it does not look like it. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. And I actually have a rant that I'm gonna let you guys go first, and then I'm gonna give my rant. But I'll say one thing about Anthony Edwards. just because if I rant, it's going to take too long. So I'll let you guys go first. But about Anthony Edwards, though, he needs to show up. He needs to show up. I said it last week. Go tap into last week's episode. I said it. I think I even shared a reel. Go on Instagram, follow us, listen to that reel. He needs to show up. I don't put anything past anybody. Everybody on that team needs to show up. But Anthony Edwards, you were the star. You're supposed to be the Mr. Reliable. And this series has been up and down for you. Up and down can't work. He's young though. He's going to figure it out. He's going to learn from this. He has all the ability in the world to take this team to another deep playoff run in the future. But he has to learn from this and understand he has to be a playoff riser for his team to get further than this.
He needs ankle braces.
I don't think he made I don't even think he made a leap from last year to this year. I don't like as far as skill, as far as impact, as far as leadership. I think we're looking at the same kid we saw literally a season and a half ago.
He just added 3-point shooting. Volume 3-point shooting.
Yeah, and you can argue it's efficiency, but I don't think that was the step that he should have taken. I think that was like an analytical response, like, "Hey, AE," because I think this is like the.
Bro, that's what I was trying to say, bro.
Yeah,
nobody wants to listen to me.
That's the
exactly.
Game.
The 3-point shooting was not necessary. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. Like I don't think AE, like if you want to add to AE, I don't think you add 3-point shooting now. I think there's other aspects to him as a person that you could have exploited that would have made that what he got going on with them so much better. Another thing that I think is kind of messing them up is they're too talented. I mean, they're like the winning version of the Rockets. You can go 10 deep. And I think that's too deep. Like, in the Thunder, you can argue that too. But once you get past 7, I mean, this guy just blew up. You know what I mean? This guy's a third year. This guy's the Wolves. I mean, you got vets. You got a wide range of vets on almost every position. Then you got, you're paying. There's like 5 guys that really could fight for a max or at least a max contract. Like, I don't know. There's so much going on with them. There's like a lot of noise, and the whole time you got this kid who's 23. I think 23. I mean, I don't see the step that Jason Tatum took with the Celtics is not a step that I'm seeing AE take with the Wolves when it comes to and one thing I love about a player, and it'll really attest to like the favorite players that I have is a half court player, like someone that can catch the ball in the low block or catch it at the elbow or catch it. AE's not that kind of guy. He's just he's give me the ball. We're going to take off from the fast break, 5v5, really playerish, and this is where our guys like Cade Cunningham. Our guys that like Brandon Knight, our guys that will put my shoulder on your chest, give me that shit. We're gonna play basketball for
the crazy part. I feel like he was that last season in the playoffs. I feel like he did a lot more of posting somebody up, fading away. He was drawing those Jordan comparisons. Of course, we know he's not like Jordan, but remember those days when he was drawing those Jordan comparisons because he was more emphasized on the half-court game. I agree with you 100%. Although his 3-point shooting is a great thing to add in general, I don't believe the volume of his shooting was what they needed per se. That team has done great. They made it to the conference finals, and they deserve all the credit at the end of the day. But I think you want to adjust your game in a different way coming into next season. Because you don't know what your roster is going to look like. There's no guarantee they have a lot of ability to change things up that much. So if you're going to have to run it back, that means everybody on that team is going to have to figure out, what do we do differently?
My fault. I would rather them hire another shooter than AE go over more screens. Like I feel like this season they said shoot more, we'll get you screens, we'll get you open. We'll get you, just shoot that shit when you get it. And I feel like that was like one of the worst things you could have done for that guy, bro. Instead of giving him more touches, around the 3-point line, I would have rather see him do more post up, do more ISO ball.
What if you became a playmaker?
Hire another shooter.
Because think of last season, we didn't really have Mike Conley, and even this season, he's not able to play like he was before. They have no point guard. They have no playmaker. What if he had playmaking or passing as something that he worked on this offseason? Do you think that would have been better?
No, because I don't think he's a bad passer. I think Yeah, no, like I want to see more 12-foot post-ups on the elbow, one-on-one basketball. He plays no one-on-one basketball anymore, bro. You can watch as many all 82 games plus these last 10. Everything is coming over a screen. And it could be the product of the game. But one thing you see with Shea so much more often is his one-on-one, 12 feet from the basket. Everybody clear, or if not clear, sweep by.
Even
I don't know.
Jalen
I don't
Brunson.
like this. Oh my God, even Jalen Brunson gets more one-on-one post-up time than AE. AE is like, he's trying to play like they took Stephen Curry, shaved off some shit, mixed it in the juice, and threw it on AE, bro. Because I don't like the screens. I don't like the sweeping around the court for him. It's like, John Morant. John Morant don't shoot for shit.
Yeah. I was about to say, they didn't really add a wrinkle to his game. They just, like you guys said, told him to do something. Great players, like legendary players. Yeah, I don't think shooting more, just because I have a gun with more bullets doesn't make me a better shooter. But
oh my God,
you're gonna hit that target more often, though.
Of course, I'm shooting it way more.
Exactly.
But
I like that.
What I was gonna say is, great players, legends add an honest, great thing to their game. LeBron went to Miami. He added a post game. He added his jump shot the year after that. Kobe added a post game. After that, added the fadeaway. Then went back to the 3-point shot and got really good. Became a really above average 3-point shooter at one point. Dwayne Wade, post game, he became a better playmaker. Like these players that I'm naming, they have ways to impact the floor on more than one or two different ways. And the way I view Anthony Edwards is 3-pointer up when it comes to the offense. And what I mean is a screen, a flare up, I'm up. Now I'm going to use my athleticism to either get value or to help me create a jump shot. And it's not like a methodical game. It's not hard to figure out. Eventually, if you get someone athletic enough and if you get someone smart enough to get over certain screens and willing enough to take that beating over the screens, you have a good defender who can guard him, Lou Dort. So it's just like now we're in a position with AE. Yeah, we're in a position with AE where we're like, this is manifest here. Add to the game. You're right, Asante. He needs a post-up game. Most players enter a different stratosphere when they can post up from 12 feet and under. They become way better scorers.
Yeah,
that's what he has.
He needs to be him.
The way they're constructed right now doesn't give him the opportunity to take 12 seconds and 5 dribbles on the post.
They don't
get it and go.
They got to get rid of Rudy or Randall, but they need more freedom in that post 12 feet. They need more space. They got to get a big man who can shoot. They got to get a big man who can shoot. Yeah, or they use Randall in a smart center set like the Knicks did, where it gave Jalen Brunson an opportunity to have that space. That's why they went and got Cat, a way better shooter than Randall. So they gave Brunson that space to be their low post scorer, technically speaking,
and that worked
right?
out very
Out
well
of the
for
guard
Brunson
position.
and the Knicks.
So I think Cat is an important piece now that we talk about it for a scoring player. Wow, it's crazy to even say that. But it adds space, and they need space. And Rudy there with Randall does not add space. It clogs that lane. And I think that's why we're seeing him take that jump shot a lot more.
That's why I think if you take the team that they had last season, and I really do believe you keep that same aggressive Ant that he gets his post touches, he still continues to shoot, he's still off the dribble, but you add in some more ball handling, some more passing opportunities, some more playmaking. He's able to now feed Cat on his drives. He's able to pass out, which he wasn't doing before. He's getting stuffed at the rim. I think that's better for him. I think if you continue to have that same aggression, and rather than shooting 10 threes a game, he's passing and he's getting like 7 assists. Similar to Jason Tatum when they won, he did up his assists. I think that's better for him. I really do.
Who was in that def lineup for them when they were winning? It was Al Horford, a shooting center. Kristaps Porzingis, a shooting center. And I'm sorry, Tyler, I meant to say that because you sparked my mind. You have space now for Jason Tatum, and you have space for Brown to get to the hole. What they're naturally designed to do, what he is naturally designed to do. He's a downhill, get to the basket guy. And it kind of adds on to what Tyler's saying. The dynamic of how they're built, I think, depends on them getting more shooting on that court. And I think that was their biggest problem. They lost Cat, a really good three-point shooter, and gave Randall, which we kind of see what he became for them.
They didn't lose.
Yeah, I think we all agreed.
This narrative isn't that they lost Cat. They traded him. They're stupid. They traded him.
Yeah, I think we all agreed from the beginning of the trade that giving away Cat was not the right decision for them. It didn't make sense, and it was a money move for them. And listen, I get it, but that's poor GM work in my opinion. Ultimately, I think Anthony Edwards just needs to be him. He needs to be the engine that drives the car. You know what I mean? Like he has to be the source of everything that occurs on that court, because in the playoffs, that's how you win playoff games. You have to have a guy who is just him. And I'm sorry to say, is the last thing I'll say about the series is, at the end of the day, let's look at the Wolves' path to this current spot. You know what I mean? People have told me, my personal friend who have told me I'm using this as a cop-out, but they played the Lakers, who were a overrated team. I do believe that. And of course, as a Lakers fan, I'm never going to say that throughout the season because we're doing good. And we're winning, and we got the third seed, so I'm never going to say that. I'm a Lakers fan. Why would I ever say that out loud? You know, am I stupid? But now that it's all over, now in hindsight, I'm fully aware, and I always have been fully aware, we were an overrated team. We were not going to win a playoff series if we got the wrong matchup in the first round. We were not going to. And that was the wrong matchup. The Wolves. The Wolves beat an overrated team in the Lakers, an injured team in the Warriors, and now they're playing a real team who was prepared to play basketball, who was prepared to win and actually succeed and do what it's supposed to do, and they looked terrible. I don't know, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Hasn't every loss they've suffered in this series been a bad loss? Have they had a close loss?
A near blowout.
Yeah,
have they had a close loss?
Right now it's 73-43 in the third.
What sucks about all this,
madness.
Like when we talk about greatness, right? When we talk about greatness in players, we talk about the Jason Tatums, the Shays. I feel like when you watch Anthony Edwards lose, you can see it on his aura. You can see it on his body. When LeBron loses, when Jason Tatum is losing, when Steph Curry is losing, it doesn't exude the energy of "I lost." It kind of excuses. I mean, I'm not them. I'm not who they are. You know, I'm not LeBron. I'm not. But it comes as a lesson. I feel like when you see them lose, it's more of like a lesson. I feel like when Anthony Edwards loses, and I hate to say this, because this is such a biased opinion thing, you can like feel it. Like, do y'all feel it? Like, I feel like he be pouting.
Yeah. I
feel
think
like
that's the difference between 26 and 23.
Yeah, man. It's just like it's really bad basketball body language. And I know Nas knows what I'm talking about it as an owner. Maturity, and it shows. Like, and it sucks because this year was about him becoming a leader, and then when this series, it's like unraveling. Like, there is no leadership. That confidence he has is.
I think this is a testament to how that Nas and I have agreed that basketball is to be played. Is like we were talking about a while ago. You know, what's the number one goal for the player in any given situation? Is it taking the shot, or is it making the play? And I think with his maturity, he's in that taking the shot, and it's not about making the play. And sometimes making the play can be him taking the shot, but if you're hucking, well, now you're working against yourself.
Yeah, and he kind of did it in that Warriors series where he was getting. No, he wasn't. He ended the series with about 9 assists. He kind of found it. I think he kind of had to dial into that because Jimmy Butler wasn't going to let him score. He was getting a bunch of Gary Payton Jr. He was getting bodies thrown at him, and the fatigueness of trying to figure out how to score was killing him. And his actual passing has been going up this playoffs. He's actually averaging more passing in the playoffs than he is the regular season. But I think it comes to like what Nas says sometimes. I think he has no choice but to pass when he's passing out of a double team, or if he's passing out of dribbling for 15 seconds into a 3-point shot, a rush 3-point shot. Yeah, it's not about really being a playmaker. You're just fucking make it to not turn the ball over.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
No, you froze.
It's frozen.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. I can
Yeah,
see you.
you're
Let me see.
super
I'm gonna
slow.
turn off my
Old
camera.
version.
Turn it back on. All right,
You're
should be
back.
good now. What was I saying? It's about playing basketball with a purpose, bro. That's all it is. It's about playing basketball
Yeah.
with a purpose, as opposed to playing basketball because you're on the court. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
he's young though. It's a maturity thing. I think this is a good test of time for him. But not to harp on this series too much. Move on to the last series available. Who we
Exciting series. Bro.
possibly concluding tomorrow. We got the Pacers versus the Knicks. The Pacers are up 3-1. What are you guys' thoughts on the Pacers versus the Knicks?
I have a hot take. I think in the playoffs, Tyrese Halliburton is making a case in the playoffs for being a superstar, production-wise. He doesn't have the
I
fame. I
think-
don't think he ever will coming out of Indiana. It's a small market.
Yeah.
They eat corn for like a living. That's like their thing. But
Man,
basketball-wise,
there
bro,
goes one of the
he's
Indiana viewers.
averaging like, 23 and 11 in the playoffs. He just had a game, 32, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, not a single turnover. He's clutch. He shows up like superstars are meant to. I think he elevates himself to a superstar level in the playoffs. And I think that he also has a great team around him that helps him. But if you compare it to the other superstar that people say, Jalen Brunson, he doesn't elevate anybody else. He doesn't play at a superstar level in the playoffs. He plays for himself. And I think that's why they lost. You have like a Houston Rockets style ISO where it's, just this guard constantly, getting screens, constantly ISO, and you're kind of dying on that solely. But he doesn't have the passing that James Harden has. He's not a elite passer, so it just kind of dies on him completely. And I think that's what we saw.
Yeah, and go ahead, Asante.
My fault. I was gonna say I disagree with the superstar term. I disagree with that a lot. Actually, I think superstar is a term that's too loosely used, especially for
season
someone
term.
that wasn't first All NBA. I think
Yeah.
there's only 5 superstars in the league. That's going to be, and you can really argue, maybe your bottom 4 or 5 for players of multiple positions, but your best point guard, your best shooting guard, your best small forward, your best power forward, your best center. And like I said, for a few of those, you can probably double down with 2 guards or 2 bigs, give and take the year. But superstar,
Forwards. Yeah.
fuck no, not at all. I think a superstar, there's not only a level of winning that he hasn't reached, there's a level of tenured winning that he hasn't reached at all. It hasn't even scraped the
Yeah, I don't
surface.
think he is referring to the playoffs only, but yeah, I also agree with Asante. I don't think he's played to the degree where he could be called a superstar just yet, even if you're just using the playoffs specifically, because I don't believe he's consistently producing superstar quality performances every single game.
My bad, Nas. Go ahead.
Everybody wants.
Is it your bad? All right, I was in the middle of talking. I'm talking about my bad, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I was gonna say. Is I don't think he's consistently produced a superstar level performance every single night. I think he has his ups and downs, but I think he's 100% a playoff riser. I think that whole overrated narrative, he's definitely shoved it in people's noses. That that was never true. I really am a good player. I really can exceed the expectations.
Definitely shoved that.
Yeah, he definitely showed that, and I respect the hell out of him. And really, I could go on for an hour because I love it. I absolutely love the idea of somebody standing on business. I absolutely love the idea of, listen, you can talk as much about me as you want. I'm here, you're not. You know what I mean? Like you could call me overrated, but the players who you consider the best point guards in the NBA are not here right now. You know what I mean? The players who had an opportunity to be here are not here right now. You know what I mean? Whoever that might be. They're not here. I am. Was he an All-Star this year? He was, right?
Yeah.
Most of my All-Star team is not here right now. You know what I mean? So like, he stood on business, and I respect it a lot. But no, I don't think he's a superstar just yet in the playoffs.
I don't think his playoff work is even better than Paul George's when he was a Pacer.
Well, that's tough.
Paul
Though.
George
I think
was
Paul
good.
George was like a very, very, very good playoff performer, especially against the Heat.
He was even more consistent than Halliburton, in my opinion. Like, didn't Halliburton this playoff run go a scoreless game? He might have had the 30 and 11, but he is also his highs were high. They weren't really high; they were high, but his lows were kind of absurd for like I can't think of a last time I can remember a superstar absolutely botching. Maybe James Harden, maybe Carmelo Anthony. Maybe I don't even think Melo even seen the playoffs when he was in Knicks. Paul George, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah, but he ain't go scoreless. Like this dude Halliburton went scoreless. Like that's absurd. I just wouldn't say superstar. I hate this series. I think no matter who wins, they lose to whoever comes out of the West. I think
Whoever. I think we've decided who's coming out of the West.
Yeah, I think
Keep it
OKC
open.
got
It's not
it.
over. 7 games.
I'm just trying to respect the, respect the
no, fuck New York.
The script. Yeah, I absolutely hate both teams coming out of the East right now. I think I got to figure out what the roads were. I think the only real slip up was them absolutely dominating the Cavaliers. I think everything else went as according to.
That was not a slip up.
Shit. I'm not a
That
They
was,
dominated the Bucks, so I didn't expect them to dominate them, but they did. Though.
They dominated the Bucks last year too.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to dominate them, but winning the series was definitely a possibility. I had the Cavs definitely, but I
beat the
wouldn't
Knicks
expect them to
last year
dominate.
too.
They did beat the Knicks.
Yeah, and they took the Celtics to 7 games.
Why are we talking like
Shout out
this?
to Google. Google out here misinforming shit. So I googled the playoff series for 2024 just to see the scores. I sent it to Nas. Obviously, I know, but Nas thinks little of me. So,
you didn't know. Stop
Hey,
it.
you
Stop
think
it.
little
You
me.
did not know.
You
You
had
did
no clue,
not
actually.
know.
I know
You did
what
not
you
know.
say.
You had no clue.
You tried to say
You're in a better.
7.
You'd be in a better position to just admit that you got caught. You got caught.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why Google did that. For some reason, Google had the series
It's
history
AI.
saying that it went to 7 games. I don't know. I was confused.
Talk about
on
all
how.
7 games that they played last year because they played 3 games during the regular season and they played 4 games during the playoffs. 7 games. So
Yeah, that AI does not work properly.
No, but
No, it
they
just
didn't
didn't
win
word
those.
it right.
AI was just wrong. They didn't sweep them last year in the regular season.
anyways, my whole take on this is I think they've been a good team since last year. I didn't think that they were going to go back to the Eastern Conference Finals. I did not expect that. I did expect them to beat the Pacers. That is on record. I did expect them to beat the Bucks. I was on the fence about the Knicks, but they ended up beating the Knicks. Well, we'll find out still, right? TBD. But my whole point about this is people saying Halliburton's not a superstar. I get that. I don't think he's a superstar either. I think superstar is better than just being the best player in the league. I think superstar is also having a personality, being a product, being sellable in the common home. You know what I'm saying? For American door to door, I think everybody knows who LeBron is. Everybody knows who Kobe is. Everybody knows who Steph Curry is. Everybody knows these guys, right? At some point now, everybody knows who Nikola is. You know, to a certain degree, right?
Jackson.
Not Rakia Jackson.
No one knows who she is either. But regardless,
Beautiful.
Sorry, it was a joke. It was a joke, guys. It was a joke. Anyways, jeez, man. Anyways, my whole statement about this whole thing and where I'm getting at with this is, I just feel at the end of the day, when it comes to this series, we saw it happen last year. They added 2 other wing defenders. This team, when it comes to the Pacers, they're not forward strong heavy teams. They have Pascal, but that's pretty much their shining forward. A lot of their play comes from their guards: Nimard, Neesmith, Tyrese. You have TJ McConnell. A lot of their generation, a lot of their speed of the game comes from their guard product, and they're very deep there. And I think the Knicks are very weak at guard. When you think of Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges. I'm not Mikal Bridges. I mean, he's a tweener between guard and forward. But Mikal Bridges, you think of McBride, you think of Cameron Payne, Landry. It just the Pacers are way better there than you would say the Knicks is with their creators. And I think it goes back to what Tyler says in the beginning. Jalen Brunson can't create shit but his own jump shot, and it's hard to win that way. It's hard to win.
I've never seen a Knicks bench player on the court in my life, so I don't even know how to describe if they're good or not.
They've been playing Wright more. They've been playing Landry Shamet more.
It was a joke.
The series is over.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
It was a joke because Thibodeau plays his starters for 47 minutes.
Yeah, my bad. I got you.
I was going to say, I don't think...
Okay.
I was gonna say I don't think that the skill level maybe for the first 7 roster spots on either team is a big disparity. I just think that the Pacers can go 10-man.
Yeah, and
And
that's
they're
kind
10
of
man.
We'll
what
never
happened
know.
with the Knicks. They got gassed, and you could see it that they were definitely tired because the Pacers' whole game plan is to set the pace. It's their name, like they are the Pacers. They're gonna make things faster. They're gonna speed you up. And the Knicks, they got tricked, bro. They fell right into the trap. They continuously had bad turnovers, bad possessions, just speeding everything up. And like the Pacers did what they were meant to. They played faster. Knicks can't keep up with that. 7 people is not going to be 10 people. It just will never happen. They have more energy.
And 10 people who are contributing 5 to 10 points on every given night. That's big. That's big in the NBA.
Nembhard
The
did
last
that in
thing
the
I'll say,
series. Okay.
the last thing I'll say about the series, because is Benedict Mathurin. I think it's a good example of what Orlando's even saying. He's losing minutes because of his disparities on the defensive end. But he said, listen, fine, you want to play me 12 minutes? I'm going to get my shots up regardless, coach. And that man in 12 minutes just scored 20 points. You know what I mean?
Balled out.
What productivity out the ass, bro? That's crazy, bro. That's more than a point per minute played. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy to me. And that's what the Knicks don't have. And with Brunson being such an isolation heavy player, the Knicks are a much slower paced team than the Pacers are. It didn't work out in their favor. Did I predict the Pacers would win this series? Of course not. I'm not gonna lie and say that I did. But now that we are seeing it unfold, it makes nothing but sense. It makes nothing but sense.
I didn't expect
I
them
never
to win
would
in
have.
this fashion either. Like this way?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I didn't expect the Pacers to go to the finals in general. Imagine in October somebody would have told me the Pacers are going to go to the finals and compete for a championship. I would have just shut down the podcast. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't need to be talking about basketball anymore. It's not worth it anymore. But nobody expected them to make it this far. Nobody expected them. But as the playoffs progressed, they showed that ability. Orlando, you said yourself that you didn't predict them to do this. When the playoffs, right? When the playoffs started, now you're taking their. Now you're on the bandwagon because they're winning. No, that's different.
I picked them to beat the Bucks.
I'm saying from the beginning of the season. That's what I'm saying. From the beginning of the season.
Before the playoffs started, you didn't have the Pacers go past the first round.
Yeah, the play.
Yeah,
but either way, they've outperformed. They've definitely done more than what people expected them to do, and they've done a great job. Now, there's things that have gone in their favor. I won't say it here though, because I just want to get them credit. But I just want to put that out there. There are some things that have gone in their favor.
You know what's in their favor? Their star point guard for the Knicks is averaging 5 assists and 4 turnovers a game. He's just not passing. You just have a bunch of people sitting in the corner. You have Michael Bridges, this guy who brought in to be a 3-and-D player who doesn't. It's the weirdest thing. He gets into the paint, no layups at all. He'll leave the paint immediately.
Fadeaway jump shot.
Contested fadeaway midi, which 50% of the time is a hit, but that's not a good shot. Like, you still don't want to be taking that, bro.
I don't think they lean on Mikal Bridges enough.
Right. His ball handling abilities. He is.
He
like
can
a
create too.
Like creator. We saw
He's
it
hard.
in the Nets.
Yeah,
bro.
You're right, Tyler. You're right. Because I was just thinking that in my head. I'm like, damn, why isn't Mikal Bridges like being more of a point forward like he was on
Ken Johnson?
the Nets?
Bro, that's who gave him his powers. That's his CP3. Ken Johnson.
No, but he was surrounded by a lot of scores, though.
He's only
Like
played with Ken Johnson.
Yeah, and he also had Thomas as well. Thomas can get the ball and score. So that little 18 he was getting, it's off him being the third option and not having to deal with the best defender every night. I think him being the second best player with the ball in his hand, he's going to deal with this. He's going to deal with the second best defender all time, maybe even the first.
He's definitely the second option.
Huh?
He was the second option.
I mean, he has 2 great scorers next to him. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, you're going to put your best.
Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby. Like, he got no excuse for his dumb shots right now. They're dumb shots.
Yeah.
I think
I'm help my dog out.
I think that's a matter. I think that's where coaching comes into play. Because, like I'm saying, they don't lean on him enough. When they do give him the shots that he's supposed to be taking, I mean, the personnel on the court doesn't suit the kind of shots that he takes. I mean, I don't think it's really. He throws up a lot of bullshit, but I think it's because I gotta get my looks with this.
I don't think Brunson should be their point guard.
He plays out. He's out of rhythm with them.
Ball. I really do think he's better, not in that Austin Reeves role, but like a Kyrie Irving, where he's not the primary initiator. Kyrie Irving with LeBron is perfect. You need to find someone that can handle the ball better, because it's not Cat and it's not Jalen.
I don't think
Knicks don't have that.
But I don't think Anunoby and Bridges are that caliber of playmaker to make that happen. They are good playmakers, and they can handle the ball. I don't know if they're that caliber to a Luka Doncic, to a LeBron James. You know what I mean? That's what you need to be able to have Brunson freely play off the ball. But I think we all know where it's going to head. We know if the Knicks make some miraculous comeback, I'll take it back. But I think we all know it's going to be Pacers versus Thunder. The Thunder are pretty decisively about to finish this game here shortly. I don't even think the starters are going to play anymore. They're up by 26. But Pacers versus Thunder, if that is the conclusion that we're going to see in the finals, what do you guys think? Let's cap it off with our opinions on that series.
I think the Pacers lose in 7, but I don't like. There's this narrative where like OKC is just outright better. I don't think that anymore. This team is like fully convinced me that they can actually do something. They match up very well against OKC. They're very long defenders. They play very quick in transition. They have a similar pace to OKC, so they're not going to be sped up. They get more possessions on average. They're a great perimeter defense that is able to make other teams turn over the ball more often. I'm actually going to say it. I'm going to take back what I just said. I got Pacers in 7.
Hey, don't take my pick.
I got the Thunder in 6. I think the Thunder are a defense that they haven't been accustomed to just yet, which is something that's going to cause some issues. I do believe those turnover numbers will increase compared to what they have been. I think the pace, ability to match the pace is going to be something that the Pacers are also not going to be ready for, because they've been running teams out the gym. Now you have a team that's going to run with you. They're going to be right there, and they're not going to run just on offense. Those defenders get back on defense. They hustle.
Hasn't been playing good though. They've been shooting like shit all playoffs so far.
That's actually why I think I got OKC gentleman sweep. I think if somebody's heater go off, it's over. I don't think there's you got Shea, who's going to do what he's done all year. That's just not going to change no matter who you throw at him. I think Chet. And he knows so crazy. I meant to throw this out so early. Is when we did the fantasy draft, he was like my second pick, and it's so crazy that he goes out the entire season in a comedic fashion.
Who was your first pick?
Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Orlando's not in the draft. He would love to know.
I'm a huge fan of Chet. I think he's also as equally unguardable. Like I don't
think to change the subject.
Chet, please. I don't think Chet is a player that gets shut down. I think he's one of those guys that just don't perform. But that hasn't been the case, because ever since he's come back, I mean, mind you, he only played maybe 25, maybe.
That's a weird compliment.
25. What? You don't get shut down. You don't score the ball.
He just doesn't show up. He just doesn't show up.
Yeah, the guy in front of you just.
That's real. He doesn't get shut. No one shuts him down. There's very few occasions where he didn't play up to par. I'm talking about even his one-on-one matchups regular season against Jokic. He was not getting bullied at all. If anything, he was becoming more of a problem for them. No matter who they threw at, you can't throw anybody at Shet to stop him. Like I have yet to see it. So I think he's one of the.
I do agree with that though.
He's one of the best players that do not get the credit in the league. I mean that. I got Chet top 10. Every time I see him touch the ball, good things happen. He contributes to his team's winning as a second option. Please, man. I am so willing to go to bat for him, bro. I genuinely, yes. Bro.
I think you're about 2 years
distracted. Tyler was distracted. You have to say that again. You have to say that again.
I think Chet is a top 10 player in the league.
That's crazy work, bro. That's crazy work.
Top 10?
That's crazy work.
Top 10, though?
He's not even. He's not even
on
number
top 10. He's talking about top 10 in the finals. That's where we're misunderstanding. Nobody else in the league right now. There's only 2 teams.
He's not a top 2 player on his own team, but he's a top 10 player in the NBA. So where's J-Dub?
On his own team. J-Dub's like 3 he's fighting for 3.
The all NBA 13 player is not the second best player on this team.
The only reason Chet didn't get an award because he only played 20 regular season games. The season
Chet was going to get it over him?
Chet would have got second team, bro.
Are you talking about like? Are you talking about
crazy.
Like realized potential or like his potential in the future?
No, bro. Chet right now is a top 10 player in the league. I don't care.
That's crazy work.
Yeah, bro, he's not even better than Porzingis right now.
He got shut down in the playoffs.
What? He's not even better than Porzingis right now. And that's his body. That's his mold.
Oh my god.
That's like his archetype.
Yeah, I think he is.
He's leaps and bounds better than Porzingis. He's leaps and
bounds. He's not like that much better, but he is better. Yeah,
he is much better, bro. He shoots better than him. He's a better 3-level scorer than him. He's undersized and still gets post points. He has more blocks than him. He plays better defense than him. He rotates more than him. As a matter of fact, this is why I think he's top 10, bro. He plays both. And first of all, the only reason we don't think he's better than Jalen Williams because we haven't got to see a big of a pool of games this season. But he was better than him when they went to the playoffs last year.
I don't even have Victor Wembanyama.
He's not even better than Victor Wembanyama after Chet had another year to be a rookie.
You're on mute, Tyler.
Victor Wembanyama is probably the greatest player of all time. Like, we don't even know. At this pace,
right there. Listen, we're about 2 hours in. Right there, that's where the podcast ends, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to make a video this week. We gotta get back on this and make a video this week. We're about to debate the top 10 players in the NBA.
That's gonna be the clickbait.
We have to.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the clickbait.
I love that, bro.
Chet is a top 10 player in the NBA.
We have to. That's it. Listen, y'all watching, stay tuned, bro. So at some point this week, maybe early next week, we're going to talk about it. Top 10 players in the NBA. That's our next group video. But let's wrap it up, man. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. This podcast got crazy. Hit the comment section, hit the like, share. People need to hear this, all right? Hoop Talk out. I'm out of here. I'm hungry.
You about to get a residency here, bro.
Hungry and